More concretely, if we look kind of at these bullet points, if we have some example module 3 somewhere, we can access it by going through 1, 2, 3, if it's all the way in there. If we're in module 1, if we're in here, we just have to go through self to 2 to 3. If we're in module 4, which let's say module 4 is a module in module 2, then we would have to come from 4 up to 2 and then get it module 3 from there. If this is still confusing, feel free to look at the official Rust documentation, but I don't want to spend too much more time on this. That's basically modules. So to recap all of that, a package is the container. It lets you build, test, and share crates. A crate is a small thing that's a tree of modules that's used to produce a library or an executable that you run. A module is something inside of crates that's used for controlling organization, scope, and privacy with the public keyword or pub keyword. And the path is what I was talking about, the absolute versus relative, self, super, and crate. Just useful for naming things to be specific about what you're trying to use. So I'm going to move on now to installing a example package in your project. So to do that, what you're going to want to do is use crates.io, which is a Rust package registry. And to learn about the crate, use docs.rs, which has documentation for a bunch of packages. And also, packages might not have their documentation only on docs.rs, so you might have to look around. Packages are also organized with modules, just like modules are used in other packages. So you might have to use the scope resolution operator, the : to access a module from within a package, because they might have their package organized like that. So you might have to use the : even when you're using external packages. And just a little note here, when you use a package from crates.io, you're using the package's library crate as opposed to the binary crates. So if you'll remember in our example, this was our library crate. We didn't do anything with it, but there's no way to compile that to an executable. It's just code for someone else to use. So when you make your project, you're probably going to be just working with main, right? You're probably going to only make one binary crate. If you wanted to, though, you could make a library if that's what you want your project to be. But you're probably not going to be using a lib.rs file. You can if you want, though. Okay, so let's take a look at crates.io. So this is basically just a website with a bunch of Rust crates. This is where all the crates are that you're going to use if you want all sorts of different things. You can search for any type of crate, look by category, recent keywords. So I'm just going to be talking about rand today. So this is just for using random numbers. And this is just going to be like my example, basically. So it tells you how to install it. There's a couple different ways. There's documentation on docs.rs. You can take a look at that if you want. Sometimes people will put their documentation in a GitHub repository. So maybe just look around if you're having trouble. But this says there's two ways to install it. So you can run cargo add rand, or you can put this in your cargo.toml. So let's do the cargo add rand. If we come in here and say cargo add rand, it says updating crates.io index, right? The cargo uses crates.io. That's like the repository of packages that it goes to for all of any library that you're going to want to use, any library package. When I say library, I mean like a package, which is using the library crate in a package. People will often, it's strange because this is called crates.io when really it's a repository of packages. That's kind of what I was talking about before about the arbitrary decision to have a package include one library. So people will often use crates and packages interchangeably, even though they are different things. Crates.io is a repository of packages, and you use the library crate from those packages. It's confusing, and I didn't come up with that system, but that's the way it is. So we're going to be using the rand package but the library crate from the rand package. So once we've done cargo add rand, it adds automatically for us this dependency. So when anybody else tries to use your package, let's say, cargo can look in here and say, okay, it uses rand. I need to install rand, things like that. So this is just to specify like that you need rand and specifically what version. So if you want to use an older version for some reason, if there's like breaking changes that are released, if the rand package changes, you want to use a specific version. That's basically what this is for. And you just like write it in here and Cargo will figure everything out for you. In Cargo lock, this is just like information for Cargo. You should never change this file. It says it's automatically generated by Cargo. You can just ignore that really. But now that we have installed rand, all we have to do here is, this is from the documentation. I just, you look through this, it'll say, okay, quick start, whatever, right? Read through the documentation, figure out what you want. I've read through it and I found I need use rand prelude star. Let me just copy that. Here we go, come in here. Perfect, I'll get rid of this. Get rid of this. So you bring in rand and then let's do this, hello world, and then just for a simple example, I have rand random I8. So you can probably already guess what this is going to do. If we run this, and did you see that took a little bit longer? It compiled all these different things, and that's because we added the rand dependency in cargo.toml. It knows, okay, I need all these things now, so I'll grab those and compile them. And this is giving me all these errors. I'll just, I'll just delete this folder for now. We don't need that anymore. I'll get rid of this just to show you using rand. Perfect. We got hello world minus 86. So if we run that again, 26, 36. And this is unused. Does that? Okay. Guess I read the documentation wrong. So you should just be able to like access this rand without that. So basically that's installing your own package. You're going to want to do this for any type of package, depending on what you want your project to be. Just take a look at crates.io, maybe look for some examples. There's really a lot you can do. Random, for example, is a huge package with a lot of different stuff when you start like digging into everything. But getting familiar with how to read documentation is very helpful. With Rust in particular, this docs.rs is a pretty uniformly formatted documentation. So if you kind of learn how to read this, looking through different structs, modules, functions, like these are all of the documentation for Rust modules is going to be formatted very similarly. So it would do you well to learn, kind of just get familiar with how to navigate these. And as always, I really recommend reading more documentation than you think you have to, just because it won't end up biting you in the butt if you really know about what's going on. That's just a little tip, I guess. But yeah, that's installing external packages. And with that, I'll wish you luck on your project. It is what you make it. It could be a lot of fun if you put some good time into it and make a cool project. I know I had fun making my project, but it's up to you what you want to do with it. So good luck and have fun making it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. All right, see ya.